Hello, 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 everybody. Thank you for coming on in and joining today's class. Today's lesson, we are going to be talking about the double crochet and how to make our double crochet stitch. When we are starting our double crochet stitch, of course, we're going to start with making a slip knot. You know, I want you to keep a tail that is 3 to 4 inches long because we're going to take our squares and we're going to practice to do what? Exactly, weaving in our ends. So for today, I want you to go ahead and make a slip knot, put it on your hook, nice and snug, and I want you to make a chain that is 6 inches long. That way, you'll have the foundation of your square for you to practice your double crochets. So, when it comes to making our double crochets, we are also always going to start with our foundation chain. And for my foundation chain, I am going to just go ahead and crochet a chain of maybe 12 stitches. That should give a good amount of sample so that you are able to see how the double crochet is made. All right, so when we are making our double crochet, we start off with a chain of 3. Why? Because our chain of 3 is going to be the perfect height to make sure that our double crochets all line up with the height of our chain 3. So you are going to make a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here. And how do we make a double crochet? We yarn over, insert your hook into the chain, yarn over, pull your loop through your chain. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. You yarn over, you're going to pull through 2 loops, you yarn over, and you're going to pull through the remainder 2 loops of your hook. Okay, that is how you make a double crochet. All right, once again, you yarn over, you insert your hook into your chain, you yarn over, you pull your loop through your chain, you have 3 loops on your hook, and remember, we're working on the shaft of our hook. You're going to yarn over, you're going to pull through 1, 2 loops, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through the remainder 1, 2 loops that were left on your hook. All right, one more time. You're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the chain, yarn over, pull your loop through your chain. You now have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through 2. You're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through 2. So the instructions for the double crochet is yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Those are the instructions for you to make a double crochet. All right, one more time. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. when you are reading the instructions, or if you're listening to the instructions assume that you already know how many loops you have on your hook. So you're not going to hear them say you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, okay? Because the instructions are yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. But of course you hear crocheters say yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch or into the chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, so all you have to remember is yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. One thing that you can do also is that if you are wanting to take your time, you can yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, okay? Yarn over, you can pull through 2 individually, okay? Taking your time, yarning over and pulling through 2 at a time, okay? Until you get the hang of it. Once you get the hang of it, then you'll yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay? So those are the instructions for it. But like I say, take your time. Okay, to make your double crochet, you're always going to yarn over, insert your hook in your chain. You're going to yarn over, pull through the loop and your chain. You're going to yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through the 2 remaining loops. Okay, we'll yarn over. We're going to insert into the chain, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. The same thing when you get to the last chain that you've made, you're going to yarn over, you're going to insert your hook into that last chain, you're going to yarn over and pull your yarn through, you're going to yarn over, you're going to pull through 2, and you're going to pull through 2. And you're going to keep doing that until you get to the end of your row. Once you get to the end of your row that you have done your last stitch, I want you to go ahead and turn your work. Okay, when you've turned your work, then you can go ahead and we're going to chain 3. And like I said before, the chain 3 counts as our height chain, right? Because our first chain is for a single crochet, our second chain is for the half double crochet, and our third chain is for the height of the double crochet. So then what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over to create your double crochet. You're going to go into the next stitch, which is this one right here. You're going to insert your hook into the stitch, grabbing both loops of the stitch of the crochet double crochet stitch below. You're going to yarn over, you're going to pull through, you're going to yarn over, you're going to pull through 2, and you're going to pull through 2. Okay, once again, we'll yarn over, you're going to insert your hook into the stitch of the double crochet below, grabbing the front and the back loops. All right, you're going to yarn over, you're going to go ahead and pull through. Okay, you're going to yarn over, pull through 2, and go ahead and pull through 2. Okay, including the chain 3, now we have made our chain 3 and our 2 double crochets. So you just keep on yarning over, inserting, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2, and pulling through 2. Okay, yarning over, inserting, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2. And you're going to follow your instructions. And your instructions are always going to be yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, again, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you'll continue to make double crochets all the way until you get to the end of your row. Okay, and so how do you make a double crochet? You're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. All right, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Until you come into the end of the row. Once you get to the end of the row, you're going to go ahead and you're going to do the same thing into your last stitch. Your last stitch is going to be the chain 3, because remember that I said that the chain 3 counts as a double crochet stitch. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to insert your hook into the chain, grabbing the front and the back loop. Okay, you're going to yarn over and pull your yarn through. All right, you'll yarn over and you're going to pull through 2, and you're going to yarn over and pull through 2. So you have worked the chain 3, which is the last double crochet. We're going to start again, and we're going to do a 3rd row. So when you are finished your 2nd row, you're going to start your 3rd, and your rows are always going to start with chaining 3, and you're always going to start creating your double crochets for Crochet 101, the basics of crochet for this class. You're always going to start creating your double crochets into this 2nd stitch right here. So you'll yarn over, you're going to insert, grabbing both loops, yarn over, pulling through, yarn over, pulling through 2, and pulling through 2. So when you get to your 3rd row, I want you to go ahead and easily but carefully, I want you to pay attention how you are creating your stitches, so that you're making sure that you are yarning over into the correct spaces. So we have, let's count and see how many yarn overs we have in total to make our double crochet. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so all together we have 4 yarn overs that will complete our double crochet. So I want you to remember to take your time to make sure that you are completing the double crochet stitch completely, and that you're not forgetting a yarn over, and that you are picking up both loops of your stitch below, okay, and then both loops of your pull throughs. So 2 and 2. And then when you come to the end of the row, it is always the same. You're going to still do the same technique, which is yarning over, okay, inserting, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2. Now, excuse me, when you get to your last stitch, which is your chain 3, because remember that we always start with our chain 3, that means that the last stitch of the row below is going to be your chain 3. Sometimes it's easy for you to do your yarn over and to pick up the chain, okay? Now, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to pick up both loops of the V. When that happens and you're finding that you just can't insert your hook, that maybe your chain is a little too tight, you can always use, remember how I said that there are 3 parts to your V, right? There is the front loop, the back bump, right? And then the bottom loop. So you have your top loop, your bottom loop, and you have your bumps on the bottom. So when you come to the edge and you are fighting to get into that V stitch, which is defined right here, but there's no way that you can get your hook in there, because sometimes when we're learning how to crochet, we crochet either a little too tight or a little too loose. So if you're having problems picking up that chain, you can actually, you'll yarn over and you can actually pick up the back bump of the chain, okay, along, you can pick up the back bump of the chain along with this back bump here. Let me just get one so I can define it for you a little bit, because it's a little hard to see. But you can pick up this back bump right here, okay, with this loop. All right, so you're going to actually pick up your loop, actually your bottom loop or your front loop, it doesn't matter which one, okay, but you're going to pick up the loop that is on the outside, that is closest to the edge, and you're going to pick up the back bump. So you're going to pick up, you're going to do your yarn over, you're going to pick that up, and actually what you're doing is that you are inserting your hook right into the middle of the V stitch, okay, which is sometimes much easier to do than trying to get both loops. You'll pick that up, and then you can go ahead and yarn over, and you're going to pull your yarn through, you're going to yarn over, you're going to pull through 2, and you're going to pull through 2. And now using this method to actually end your row and pick up that last chain is going to be perfectly fine. You are able to do that, and that is not going to change how your the end of your fabric looks. Okay, so you'll see that you have a straight side here, and you can see that you have your straight side here. All right, so it's not going to distort the way that the chain looks, okay? Or it's not going to inflict with any of the design, because it's going to still keep the integrity of the double crochet. So I just wanted to show you that, because sometimes, like I said, as we're crocheting, that we're building up our stitches, and you start with that chain 3, and a lot of the times when you do start with the chain 3, we kind of do tend to crochet a little tighter than usual, and you can always come back and pick up that side loop or that side leg with the back bump and complete your double crochet in the usual fashion. All right, so here I'm working on the third row, and as you can see, I started the third row by chaining 3, I'm yarning over, I'm inserting, yarning over, and pulling through, and then yarning over and pulling through 2, and then yarning over and pulling through 2. So I continue to make each double crochet the same fashion as always, not changing any yarn overs or not changing any pulling of throughs. You see that I'm yarning over, I'm inserting, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2. Same thing, I'm yarning over, inserting, yarning over and pulling through, right? I have my 3 loops on here. I'm pulling through 2, I'm pulling through 2. So whether you yarn over, okay, and do your double crochets and pull through 2 and pull through 2, or whether you yarn over and to do your double crochet and you pull through 1, 2, and then you pull through 1, 2, guess what? It is still completing the double crochet stitch. And then you're going to come all the way to the end of our row, placing your double crochet on top of your double crochet, yarning over, and then I always recommend that if you can pick up the 2 loops of your V chain, then I would always recommend to do that because it keeps the aesthetic of the fabric. If you can't, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, you can pick up that side loop and the back, and it's also going to not really mess around with the aesthetic of the fabric. Okay, so this is lesson number 8, okay, the double crochet stitch. So your assignment for this lesson is to go back and create a square that is 6 inches in length by 6 inches in height, and you're going to go back and forth practicing your double crochet stitch. Okay, and guess what, you guys? I'll see you in the next video.